Testing 1, 2.
Good evening, everybody, and welcome to tonight's City of Cedar Falls City Council meeting for, what is today's date? January 6th, 2025. It's a new year. I don't know what I'm doing. Just kidding. I'm experienced now. I have a whole year under my belt. Mostly know what I'm doing. All right, I will now call this meeting to order. Madam Clerk, roll call, please.
Schultz.
Here.
Latta.
Here.
Cruz.
Here.
Hallbaker.
Here.
Ganfield.
Here.
Chrisman.
Here.
Dunn.
Here.
All members present, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Now, if willing and able, could everyone please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, everyone. I look for a motion to approve the minutes of December 16th, 2024.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Madam Clerk, any agenda revisions?
I do not have any agenda revisions, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now move to the public forum. Speakers will have one opportunity to speak for up to 5 minutes on topics relevant to city business. Is there anyone here from the public that would like to speak tonight? Just name and address, please.
Yeah, Dennis Pruckler, 2221 Center Street here in Cedar Falls. Guess I've spoken here a few times before, and coming off Thanksgiving and the holidays, I just think it's a time to give a positive speech for a presentation for a change. Kind of talk about some of the gifts Cedar Falls has been given. I want to thank whoever it was in the city, first off, who had the foresight, even when the forecasts had no rain or snow or ice, to salt the roads, because we sure needed it. They probably may have saved a life or two in our city. So thank you, whoever had that foresight. Thing I would like to talk about a little bit tonight is some of the opportunities Cedar Falls has. As you know, I've talked before about the possibility of opening waterways and woodlands and wetlands in the northern part of Cedar Falls, miles of waterways with no portages, no anything, and the economic potential of that. Did a little digging, pulled up some numbers of what it could look like. And maybe a little, gotta get it up in the camera there. This first little bar at the bottom there, that's the number of people in the country. The national figures about 3 to 4 million whitewater enthusiasts. Moving up the line, there's about 9 million canoeists, 13 million kayakers, 39 million anglers, fishermen, 48 million boaters, bird watchers 96 million, and wildlife watchers 148 million. The bird watchers are a subset of that group. But that's the population we could be targeting here in Cedar Falls. We have something, I don't know of any other city around us that has the opportunity to do this. They're locked into building, almost every town has a river going through its center. We're one of them. They're locked into that because that's all they have going through their downtown. We have just 5-minute walk from downtown. We have miles of canoe trails. We have real bird watching. I mean, real bird watching. I went down by the river one day, even with my little Merlin app and my eyes, I identified 4 birds. I bicycled over to Island Park and parked back in the wetland area, 32 birds in a 20-minute time span. Little difference. I mean, we have opportunities that would attract those 96 million bird watchers that I don't think are going to be attracted to the other feature. I just hope we can take advantage of this and don't throw away the opportunity to do something on a grand scale that no other city in Iowa can do. And why spend money, I hope we can avoid ruining this opportunity, because as I've said before, there's some things we could do that would close that opportunity off. This is my fun presentation. I find it a little exhilarating, fun to present these kind of numbers and opportunities. Next one or two or so, I've got some subjects I have not ever brought up here or with anyone, for that matter. One of them is, to me, quite chilling, but I feel like as a citizen who cares about my community, I will have to bring it up. And there's a couple others. I've made some attempts in the past to bring them up, but I realize how busy you guys all are. And so I haven't been able to. If anybody wishes to contact me before, in some ways I would prefer to discuss some of these things privately rather than publicly here, but I feel I have to address them. So anyway, thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank
See
you, Mr.
you in a few
Brockler.
weeks, huh?
Thank you, Mr. Brockler. Is there anyone else for public comment tonight, please? Just name and address, please.
John DeCock, 818 Searly. My wife handed me a copy of Currents this morning. I went to read it. Page 5 has a big problem. And you have a problem now. State code is very specific about responsibility of clearing snow, and it's only to be natural snow. Your code reads all snow. And we have to have a problem up in College Hill, down on 22nd Street, up on Searly, whereas we don't have hardly any parking between the curb, and you've got the plows jacked up so hot that they're constantly blowing snow onto the sidewalks. Property owner's not responsible for that. Whoever wrote that code, you better take a good look at, because I went through a few other sections of code, and I found other things that don't match what the state allows you to do. One of which is alleys. Alleys are to be maintained, and it strictly says shall. I made a phone call to Des Moines, and I was told directly that alleys are to be cleared of snow by the city. It's in the state code. I don't know who's writing your codes, but you better get somebody new. I'm sure it's not our city attorney, because there's too many things I saw that just completely are outrageous. So, Mr. Mayor, I guess you got some work to do. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. DeCock. Any other any other comments for the public tonight? No, you go ahead, Rosemary. Just name and address, please.
Good evening, Happy New Year. You all look pleasant. You had a good season. I can tell you, you're ready to roll. Okay, I was reading the news. Rosemary Beach, Western Home Communities. I'm sorry. Reading our Courier. I take the Courier, and I don't have all the other devices. UNI plans celebrations for 150th class sesquicentennial. There's a couple of things I would like to just point out. I hope I get them in 5 minutes. One of them is how we got a UNI. And I know you all think you know how you got a UNI. And it tells you in here how you got a UNI, but you really don't think about it. When the Civil War was open, we had lots of orphans, evidently. And they called out in the state of Iowa who would take care of these orphans. Evidently, Cedar Falls said, we will. So they started accepting orphans. And they put them in, there was a big hotel right along the railroad track on Main Street. And one day I read an old newspaper and it said they had so many orphans they were hanging out the windows. So they said, what shall we do about that? And Cedar Falls had evidently said, we will take your orphans. So they built a great big building 3 miles from town, south of town, 3 miles. And they built it just for orphans. And I think we must have had some really, I'm not saying bad things about this council, but they must have had some real foresighted people to think ahead to that. So now they have this gigantic building, and of course orphans grow up. So pretty soon nobody's in it. So whomever the people who were working on the city, they went down to Des Moines and they said, we have this big empty building, what do we do? Can we have a teacher's college? And guess what? We got one. That's how the University of Northern Iowa got here. And I sometimes think we don't give enough credit to the people, the citizens of Cedar Falls. They had no reason to take in a bunch of orphans and do all that. They did it. Okay, now you have this gigantic building. And we have the University of Northern Iowa. And I listened to this gentleman, and guess who he mentioned in his talk? Searly. We have a street that's Searly. We have a park that's Searly. And the university has a building that's Searly. Well, okay, he came. He was not the first person to run the college, but he was the one who stayed for years and years and years. Not only that, they built a house for him. And not only that, when he retired, they let him stay in it. He stayed in it till he died. They had the funeral service in it. Now, I think that's a pretty important person. And if all of you go home and turn on your magic devices, look up Searly, you're going to find out we wish we had him back. He was a profound person in the state of Iowa, and certainly in Cedar Falls, because he really on his own created the university. And I'm just here to suggest they've welcomed the city to be part of all this, and I'd kind of like to see the city take a stand on keeping somebody at the head of the fund that meant enough in Cedar Falls. They built the house for him. They kept him there. It's an important person. It's an important part of our lives. And what the university has a tendency to do if they don't like a building, they'll just mothball it. And pretty soon the moths have eaten all of it and it falls down. And that's what will happen to this Searly house. So I'm saying, I could say lots more. I have all kinds of yellow things. Anyway, you look on your computers. The university would do well to make that an important building. I see it as a tourism building. I see it as opening up for a tourism for university kids' parents to come to, for them to learn about what is coming, pictures, whatever. Doesn't have to be a big deal. And we have no idea how much it would cost to fix it. At UNI, they say, well, it's going to cost this, this, this. We know not. Thank you. And hooray for Homer Searly.
Thank you, Rosemary. And it sounds like perfect timing because we'll be finishing up the Searly Park improvements next year, which would be the sesquicentennial year of UNI. Perfect. So, all right. Thank you, Rosemary. I'll snag it from you later. Anyone else for public comment tonight? Just name and address, please.
Awesome. My name is Michael Maloney, 2001 College Street. I am a local resident, business owner, and user of the Cedar Falls Rec Center. I've been using the Rec Center for just over 4 years now. I've grown to love the Rec Center. You know, I'm one of those people that talks to everybody. I sit in the sauna every day and just associate with a lot of people. The other day I was in there, there were 13 people crammed into the sauna, and I knew 9 people by name. So just well-known, and anyways, the reason for my appearance is I wanted to bring awareness to the fact that myself, along with a great percentage of members, would like to change a few things at the rec. And before I say them, I would like to say I truly appreciate the rec center. It's a great place for many people throughout the community. I've networked, I've met a lot of great people. You see a lot of people like pushing each other, and lately it's just been full. You can tell there's a lot of people that are interested in using the facility. It's just kind of crammed. You know, I'm unlike a lot of people, I prefer to have a full gym, and I feed off that energy, but I've also been hearing a lot of negative feedback from people just saying that it's overly crammed and that it's not being taken care of the way it needs to with the amount of traffic that goes through it. So I guess there's a few things, 2 main things and then a couple other small things. The main thing that members are interested in, we started a petition. We had like 86 people sign it. I sent this to Danny. And by the way, that was just me just talking to people in the sauna. It wasn't like we didn't put up a piece of paper or anything asking people to fill it out. It was just me, an hour a day. I would talk to people. Over about 3 weeks, I got all these people to sign up. And I'm sure we could get a couple hundred to fill it out if we really wanted. But the main thing is the hours of operation. In the summer months, the hours get pulled back so it's not open as much. Members are asking that we at least keep the hours the same, but actually even extend the hours on the weekends. The hours, like at night, the rec center closes at, I think it's 7. There's a lot of people that would like it to be not till 9. And then on Sundays, the rec center doesn't open till 11. It closes at 4, sometimes 5. There's just a lot of members that have asked for like as early as 7 a.m. and as late as 9 p.m. on Sundays. So the hours of operation is probably the biggest thing. That's probably the lowest hanging fruit that we all agree that'll help with the overpacked gym. I mean, if you go there like the last hour before they close, the sauna is completely packed. There's people waiting in line for the showers. I mean, it's really busy. Ironically, I don't recognize anybody on the city council from the rec center, so it's like, shoot, I wish I had somebody in here I could look at and be like, hey, you know what I'm talking about. And don't worry, I'm not throwing you under the bus. I know you all work out somewhere else. Yeah, but then the second thing is just in certain spots, the cleanliness, like especially the men's locker room, is just it's nasty. There's times where it's just not clean. I've been told by some of the ladies in the sauna that it's not that way in their locker room, and I've heard that they have seen female staff cleaning the locker room. So I don't know, and I've never seen that with the male staff in the locker from the rec center. So I don't know if it's just somebody's not enforcing it or if it's not part of their daily job or what. But it's almost a biohazard, especially the steam room. And then a couple less things that I just thought would be a good idea. Like in the weight room, there's these little wipes that we pull out to wipe things down. They just don't work very well, and I imagine they're really expensive. I was just thinking, like, if we just got small little microfibers, the spray bottles, that's just one small solution, just trying to save some money. And then the last thing I hear a lot of people talking about is the cards to get into the gym. A lot of gyms nowadays, you can have an app on your phone where you just scan it and you're admitted in. You don't have to pull out a card or, I don't think that's a huge deal, but I think it'd be a step in the right direction if we move to an app. I think maybe then down the road, we could have the discussions about maybe opening the facility open to specific members later hours. I mean, I've heard of other towns doing it where the locker rooms are closed, but people can get into the weight room, that type of a thing. So the last thing I'll say is what I recommend and what I really think we should do at this point, and I'm willing to put it together. I actually have a sample survey here I'll leave for you, Danny, is just put together a survey. We can just put up some flyers around the gym and say, for a couple weeks, we're going to be doing this survey. Please give us your feedback. And then, which I kind of already did with my petition, but we didn't get enough specific feedback. I think once again, this was just in the sauna, me asking people, I think if we put up some flyers around and just said, please give us your feedback, and then did that for maybe a month, and then I could bring back the statistics or the data till not next meeting, but the meeting after, I think it would be really interesting to see like what people specifically want. I touched on the main ones, but it'd be great to get some data on like what hours, that way we're not just guessing. And that way, if we address this, we address it once and for all, and we move forward. That's all I have.
Thank you, Mr. Maloney.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you. And thank you I know you've done a good job of, you see me at the rec. I just want to clarify. I'm there regularly in case anybody was wondering. And, but you've been very enthusiastic about bringing this up and looking at it as positive opportunities to move forward. So just appreciate you doing some of the feedback on this. So any other public comment for tonight? All right, seeing none, we will move to staff updates. We've got a few from Jen Stephanie.
Yeah, I just want to remind the public that we are looking for feedback on the new Parks Master Plan. We have a survey that continues to be open. It was open during the month of December, and it is open through the end of January. So it's the new year. Make your resolution to get this survey done as the first part of giving some input. On the screen is information about where you can go to fill out that survey or scan the QR code, or just go to www.cedarfalls.com and search for it that way. So we're excited to report that so far we have just over 570 responses on the survey. So we are still looking for more feedback, and if you haven't given yours, please do so. And also, if you want to stay up to date on future public opportunities to be involved as those get scheduled as the project continues forward and into the spring, there'll be more opportunities in the summer as well. Sign up through Notify Me on the city's website so that you get an email letting you know about events that are happening. Thank you.
Thank you, Director.
Sure. Thanks, Mayor. Just wanted to let everyone know that a week from tonight, every year the library provides an annual report to the City Council, and so a week from tonight at 5 o'clock at the library, upstairs in the meeting room, the library director, Kelly Stern, will be giving that annual report. So just a reminder to council, but also it is a public meeting, so public is invited if you're interested to hear how year went. Kelly will be giving that update.
Thank you, Director. A few quick updates from my end. Just for everyone watching awareness, the next City Council meeting will not be on the third Monday. Usually it'd be on the 20th. We have Martin Luther King Day that day, so it will be on the Tuesday following that on the 21st. And otherwise, the agenda and everything will be out like normal. And then also, we just announced it today. Cedar Falls hasn't in a while had an official State of the City address that a lot of cities do each year. So we'll be bringing back an inaugural State of the City address. So on January 16th, 2025 at 11 o'clock, some light food, appetizers, food and drinks, but really a chance for us as the city to kind of recap some of what's been done last year, but then also as we've gotten through goal setting and setting a lot of the course for this next year, a chance for us to make some of those commitments and talk to the public on what we'll be focusing on for this next year. So look forward to open to the public. Look forward to having people there. So if anybody you know would like to come, there's more information on the city website, and looking forward to having people out there. So, all right, otherwise, moving to special order of business, item number 2, a public hearing on proposed Hidden Pines urban renewal plan for a proposed urban renewal area. Do we have a motion to receive and file proof of publication?
So moved. So second.
Motion and seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? And that motion carries. Madam Clerk, any written communications?
I have no written communications on file, Mr. Mayor.
Madam Clerk, and we have staff comments from Shane Graham. Thank you, Shane.
Thank you, Mayor. Back in December 2nd, City Council set the date of public hearing on the proposed urban renewal plan for the Hidden Pines. This urban renewal plan has been developed to help promote new residential development within a proposed new residential subdivision named Hidden Pines. This residential subdivision will create 43 new lots for residential development, and then the goal of this plan is to stimulate new investment within this area. As I mentioned, it's a plat that should be coming to council soon, which will create the 43 lots that are looking to get started on these on construction of these homes here in early 2025. By placing this property in an urban renewal area, we are then able to offer incentives to help pay back some of the costs of the public infrastructure, which was discussed and adopted by council back in October. Part of the legal requirements for establishing a new urban renewal plan is to notify the local taxing entities, because one of the things that urban renewal plans do is allow for the city to recoup the school district and the county taxes. So we did have a consultation meeting with those entities, and no comments were given by them at that meeting. And then one other thing that we have to do as part of the legal requirement is to have the Planning and Zoning Commission look at the plan and make sure it's in conformance with the comprehensive plan and the future land use map. That did go to the Planning and Zoning Commission on December 18th, where it was unanimously recommended to approve that plan. So before entering into any sort of development agreements, this urban renewal plan must be in place first. Later on in this agenda, we'll be setting the date of the hearing for the development agreement, which will be on the next council meeting on January 21st. That will get into more of the specifics about what the developer is going to do in that development. This, again, just lays out the authority to allow for us to enter into those development agreements. And I'm available for any questions.
Thanks, Shane. All right, any comments right now? Questions while he's up? Okay. Otherwise, is there any public comment on this item tonight? All right. Seeing none, we will close the public hearing and look for a motion to approve resolution determining an area of the city to be an economic development area and that the rehabilitation, conservation, redevelopment, development, or a combination thereof of such area is necessary in the interest of the public health, safety, or welfare of the residents of the city, designating such area as appropriate for urban renewal projects and adopting the Hidden Pines Urban Renewal Plan.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded, and it requires a roll call vote, or excuse me, any discussion for jumping. All right, roll call vote, please. Did yours come up, Daryl?
Yes, I just hit
He's good.
send.
Okay.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Move to item number 3, pass an ordinance providing that general property taxes levied and collected each year on all property located within the Hidden Pines Urban Renewal Area in the city of Cedar Falls, County of Blackhawk County, State of Iowa, by and for the benefit of the State of Iowa, City of Cedar Falls, County of Blackhawk, Cedar Falls Community School District, and other taxing districts be paid to a special fund for payment of principal and interest on loans, monies advanced to an indebtedness, including bonds issued or to be issued, incurred by the city in connection with the Hidden Pines Urban Renewal Area upon its first consideration. A motion to approve.
So moved. Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? All right, hearing none. Any from the public? All right, also hearing none requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Move to old business. Item number 4, pass ordinance number 3090, amending Chapter 2, Administration of the Code of Ordinances relative to reestablishing the College Hill Self-Supported Municipal Improvement District, submitted upon its third and final consideration. Do a motion to approve.
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and any discussion from council? Seeing none, any from the public? Also seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. Item number 5, pass ordinance number 3091, amending Chapter 23, Traffic and Motor Vehicles of the Code of Ordinances relative to removing calendar parking on certain portions of Ellen Street upon its third and final consideration.
So moved. Second.
Been motioned and seconded, and any discussion from council? And any from the public? Seeing none requires a roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll now move to the consent calendar. So the following items will be acted upon by a voice vote on a single motion without separate discussion, unless someone from the council or public requests that a specific item be considered separately. Are there any requests to be considered items from council? Any from the public? All right, seeing none, do we have a motion to approve items 6 through 13 of the consent calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and all those in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? That motion carries. Move on to the resolution calendar. The following items will be acted upon by a roll call vote on a single motion without separate discussion unless someone from the council or public requests that a specific item be considered separately. Are there any requests from council? Seeing none. Any from the public? Also seeing none requires, do we have a motion to approve items 14 through 28 of the resolution calendar?
So moved.
Second.
Motion seconded, and roll call vote, please.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. We'll move to allow bills and claims. Do we have a motion to allow bills and claims for January 6, 2025?
So moved.
So moved.
Motion and seconded. Any discussion from council? And any from the public? All right, seeing none requires a roll call vote, please. Daryl, are you fighting to get a motion in there?
I did.
All members voting
Our
aye,
favorite
Mr. Mayor.
one. Bills and payroll. Love it.
All right, that motion carries. Any council updates or announcements tonight? Nothing? I guess we're just getting back, so give us some time. All right, on there, any council referrals? We didn't have any written referrals, any pressing?
He's good.
All right, seeing none, then I'll look for a motion to move to executive session to discuss the purchase or sale of particular real estate only where premature disclosure could be reasonably expected to increase the price the governmental body would have to pay for that property or reduce the price the governmental body would receive for that property pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51I, and to discuss strategy with counsel in matters that are presently in litigation or where litigation is imminent, where its disclosure would be likely to prejudice or disadvantage the position of the city in that litigation pursuant to Iowa Code Section 21.51C.
So moved.
Second.
Been motioned and seconded. Any discussion from council? And any from the public? All right, seeing none requires is that a roll call vote? Yeah, roll call vote, please.
Has to be a super. Easy.
Gil, we're waiting on you.
All members voting aye, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, Madam Clerk. The motion carries. So we will now adjourn to executive session. The meeting will come back to adjourn after executive session, but no further business will be discussed. So you're welcome to stay around if you would like. Otherwise, you are welcome to head home. And we will see you not the third Monday, but the Tuesday following that on the 21st. So thank you, everyone.